Hi, I'm Victoria Pearson, but you can call me V, and in my last vlog last week you came to Bedford with me and together we bought 100 summer flowering bulbs for £6, bit of a bargain. Throughout that video I called the shop Wilkinson's, like it hasn't been called Wilko for at least the last 20 years. Don't know why my brain did that. Anyway, we're going to plant those today, but first I'm going to quickly tell you why. See, the thing is, bit of a confession here, right? There's this woman in my life. She is really close to my family. She works so hard. Everything that she does is for my kids or for my benefit. Everything, right? And I'm horrible to her. I am horrible to her. She tries so hard and I criticise her. I berate her. I'm nasty to her. I bully her, okay? She tries so hard to make me happy and nothing she ever does is good enough for me. And so I'm planting these for her as a little treat to say sorry for being so mean and to kickstart a new phase in our relationship where I can be nicer to her. And if you haven't noticed yet and you haven't figured out yet who I'm speaking to, I am of course talking about me. I'm the problem. It's me. I am horrible to myself and I work so hard for myself and for my family. I work hard to keep us all fed, clothed, in a clean home. I work really hard to keep us emotionally looked after, and then I'm just horrible to myself all the time. And I'm sure there are quite a few of you watching that are the same. Now I find it easier in those situations to think of future me as a separate person to me, and to think of past me as a separate person to me, so that I can better meet my emotional needs. Because I tell you what, I am great at meeting other people's emotional needs. It's my own that gets put on the back burner. So today I'm doing something nice for my future self. I hope she likes it, because future me in the spring is going to be able to look out of the window where I do my work and see lots and lots of beautiful spring flowers where once before there were just weeds. So I'm going to grab my jacket, we're going to stick some of these in the ground. We're not going to be too precious about it because it's really cold out there and I don't love future me that much. But she does deserve a little treat, so I'm going to give her some flowers. So this is what I'm dealing with. That's what I've got to clear out. It's a right mess, which the wildlife love, but the rest of my garden's a right mess too, so that's fine. They've still got plenty of food. I'm planting the bulbs in here because otherwise my husband will just mow over them. But I can't just like hack it all out because I've also got the strawberry plants at the side. I'm going to do some kind of magical transition now or something, and when you next see it, it will be all cleared and ready for planting. That's better. I mean, not perfect, but better. So yes, my garden is a massive mess. I've put my picnic blanket down because the grass is very long and very wet. It hasn't had its first cut of the year yet. Yes, you can see all mess in the background as well. But we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to plant our bulbs. Now, I'm just using my Boline, my Athame, from my altar for this because I've got really soft sandy soil. You might need a trowel if your ground is a little bit thicker, a little bit claggier than that, a little bit more clay soily than that. Is my dog weeing behind my back again? How annoying. There's lots of different types of bulbs in here, and if you wanted to, you could get really precious about it and measure out the space in between them all and things. I'm not going to do that. I am going to chuck them down in little clusters because I just think that'll look a bit more natural. And this bed is visible from where I do my work. My desk is just under the window, the one with my terrarium on, and so when I look out of the garden, this is what I see, and it was just all weeds and horribleness, and that's not very cheerful to look out on. It's not very inspiring to look out on. It just makes me think about things that I've got to do. So I'm just going to scatter some of these here and there in little clusters and clumps, and then I'm going to take my knife and plant them down into the ground there, just like that. Super quick because it's very cold out here and it doesn't have to be at all perfect. Now there's still quite a lot of weeds left in this soil as well because I only did a quick scoop out of them, but it doesn't matter, they'll still be there in spring. I can sort that out then, that's fine. I've no idea what kind of bulbs that I am planting right now. Maybe one of you clever people will be able to tell which is which. They're not actually labelled on the individual packets, I don't think. If none of you can tell me, then we'll find out in the springtime. I'm okay with that. So I'm just giving them a little stab into the ground, just enough earth to cover them back over then. I almost forgot this little cluster here then. Right, so I am basic, okay? I like flowers. That's a very basic thing for a lady to like. But who doesn't like flowers? They're bright, they're cheerful, they're beautifully scented. Who wouldn't want flowers? If you love a woman, instead of buying her cut flowers that are going to last a couple of days and then die, buy her some bulbs instead, because they're totally foolproof. Literally, you can't go wrong. Just stick them in the ground. If you don't have ground to stick them in, that's okay. They'll do quite happily in a pot or any kind of container, as long as it's got a bit of drainage for them. And once you've stuck them in the ground, you can just ignore them and they will keep growing again and again, year after year after year, without any effort from you whatsoever. And so they last better than cut flowers, but also you've got that sort of romantic element in there of the promise, the unspoken promise that you will be there when they do bloom, that you'll be able to watch them grow together. I just think that's really romantic, actually. Another reason that I really like planting bulbs, especially in the winter. Last week I said that they are not supposed to be planted until March, but I don't think they're going to care when I've planted them, because like I said a minute ago, with bulbs, once you've put them in the ground, you just leave them and they come back year after year after year. You get more and more every year. They don't care. So I don't think that they're really going to care what time of the year that I put them in the ground. I don't know how they would even know what time of year that I put them on the ground. They will just know when they are ready to flower. And they'll do that in their own sweet time. And that is another thing that I really like about them as well, is that you put a bit of effort in, and it is a tiny little bit of effort. I mean, look how easy this is. Tiny little bit of effort in, and then you get flowers year after year after year. And they keep coming back just as you think that winter is never going to end. Just as you think to yourself, oh, it's been so cold and so dark for so long and I can't take it anymore. All of a sudden, all the spring flowers come out and they make that long wait in the dark worth it. And to me, there's a big link between this and self-care stuff, because we can often think that our efforts are not meeting fruition, okay? But the day that we plant the seeds is not the day that the flowers grow. I might feel like I'm not making any progress with any of the things that I'm doing. I might be doing my affirmations every day and I'm working really hard at that. I'm trying to improve my self-talk. I'm doing all the shadow work and I still feel like I'm not getting anywhere. That doesn't mean that nothing's happening. It just means that it's still rooting. It is under the ground, doing what it needs to do to get you strong, healthy flowers at the end of the season, when it's their time to fruit, when it's their time for harvest. Everything happens in its own time. And so although we might feel like we're not making any progress, we're just running along on that treadmill, not going anywhere, hamster wheel of life, you are making progress. You're taking root. Underneath the surface, down in the ground, your subconscious, deep under there, you're spreading out a new root system that is going to build the foundation that you need to really make your garden grow. And that is true of flowers, that's also true of people. I have no idea how long I was just recording without actually recording. I've been doing a lot of stuff here and I don't know how much of it actually got filmed. But yeah, I'm just chucking these little bulbs down, sticking them under the ground, and I'm telling myself as I do that I'm not doing this for me now. If I was doing it for me now, it would be too hard. It's cold out here, I'm snotty, it's not very nice. But because I'm doing this for my future self instead, so much easier. So much easier to think of her as a different person to me, you know. Ooh, they've got a lot of dirt attached. It's so much easier for me to just think, well, that woman that does so much for my family, she's going to love being able to look out of her window and see all the flowers in the summer. I can't wait to see how happy that makes her, because it's so much easier for me to do that than it would be for me to say I'm doing this for myself. And I think that a lot of adults feel that way. All of us feel that way sometimes, I think, and we need to get past that. And it's the same when you're talking about past self. When I'm doing shadow work, and I'm trying to like reparent my inner child and all this business. It's so much easier. It's so much easier to think of that as a different child, a child in the past, not me, a child in the past who needs my help, who needs my care, who needs me to be there and step up for them. I don't have it in me to turn down a child that needs my help. That is just not the way that I am built. But I regularly do that to my own inner child all the time. I reject her all the time. I reject her needs all the time. And so starting to think of her past self as a separate person, future self as a separate person, just makes it so much easier to do stuff for her that I couldn't normally do for myself. These are all tangled together, and I don't know if they're supposed to be or not. They seem quite attached to each other, so I'm just going to put them into a big block together and hope for the best. Where should we put you? I've never seen a bulb like that before. These are really more the kind that I'm used to. So yeah, TLDR of the whole thing. Just because you can't see the progress that you're making doesn't mean that you're not making progress. This little guy's got to build some roots before he can flower, and so do you. Keep doing those affirmations, keep doing that good self-talk, and it's going to get better. And buy your girl some bulbs. Or buy yourself some bulbs. Because everyone deserves flowers, everyone deserves something nice, everyone deserves something pretty, and yes, that does include you. Let's go get the kettle on, it's freezing out here. I really hope that you enjoyed that little vlog planting some bulbs with me. It was so cold outside, the wind was howling, there's work going on outside. I'm so sorry for all the background noise there. We did our best, it was the best we could do. I will be back next Monday for my next vlog. Next week, actually the week after next, is going to be National Storytelling Week. And so next week I'm going to do something totally different. I'm going to read you one of my fairy tales, and I really hope that you enjoy that. So that will be 6 AM UK time. Come and have a story with me. It'll be lovely. If you can't wait until then to see me again, I do understand. I'm here every single day on the shorts doing my daily gratitude, letting you know what's made me happy, what's made me smile, what I'm grateful for that day, because noticing those little things each day makes the big things just fall into place all by themselves. I will also be here, assuming that I haven't killed it yet, on Tuesday for my terrarium check-in. I made a terrarium for Christmas, I've got a kit, and I'm desperately trying to keep it alive. So for accountability and so I remember to check on it, we'll be checking in every Tuesday morning to see how it's getting on and make sure it hasn't gone mouldy yet. Up until then, you have yourself a magical week.